Let's do some more comparisons. Hello, my name is Alex Does F1 Stuff and welcome back to another random F1 episode, and today we are going to be comparing the 7 Formula 1.5 seasons from 2014 up to 2020. Actually, I tell a small little lie. 2020 won't be included as it hasn't been concluded. The season is still ongoing. However, 2020 Formula 1.5, excluding the two Mercedes and Verstappen, is actually so far an okay season. And what I wanted to do was compare it to see how well it compares to 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18 and 19 if we exclude the top 3 teams. So this video does draw inspiration from a video that I made not too long ago called Comparing the Decades, where I analysed every single season in Formula 1 out of 5 categories, giving them a score in each out of 10, with 1 being the best score and 10 being the worst. I do break down the maths a little bit better in that video, but briefly, the 5 categories are the number of race winners, which is calculated by doing 12 minus the number of race winners. The championship lead changes. How many times the championship lead changes is done by 10 minus the number of changes there are. The independent championship leaders themselves, which is different to the championship lead changes, which again is 10 minus the number of changes. How long was the championship lead unbroken for, which is how many races it didn't change up until the end of the championship, divided by the number of races there were in the season times by 10. And then finally, did the season go to the last round, or did the championship go to the last round? If it did, it scores 1. If it didn't, it scores 9. Now feel free to completely disagree with these categories, as I am looking at creating some more in order to compare them again and then make an average against the different categories, as I'm aware that different categories will result in different scorings. But I felt that these 5 were sort of what we look for in a close championship season. Did it go to the last round? Was it suspenseful? If it was boring, why was that? Because the championship lead was unbroken. The leader led from the very first race. How many different winners were there? Was the season competitive? And even if it was a dominant season between 2 drivers, how many times did that championship lead change? So that's basically the premise of why I've chosen these 5 categories, and with that out of the way, we will move on into 2014. And in each of these years, we will have a breakdown of the table of finishing positions and also an animation of the championship lead graph, which Magnussen ended up leading in Australia. However, Malaysia, he lost it to Fernando Alonso. As the winners category scores 7 out of 10, there were 5 independent winners. As the championship lead changes, scores 9. There was just 1 championship lead change from Australia to Malaysia, with 2 independent championship leaders, Magnussen and Alonso. However, the reason why this year scores so highly is the unbroken record, 9.47, as Alonso led it for 18 out of 19 rounds, and it did not go to the last round, which scores it 9 out of 10. Alonso had 9 victories this year and 12 consecutive podiums, with the overall season scoring 42.47. A very, very dominant season for Fernando Alonso on his way to the first Formula 1.5 championship. And with 2014 done and dusted and scored, we move to 2015, which starts with Felipe Nasr actually maintaining his championship lead into Malaysia as well, as there are 8 independent winners this year, scoring 4 out of 10. There were 4 championship lead changes, scoring 6, as Daniel Ricciardo takes a nice lead in the championship. But there were just 3 independent leaders this year though: Felipe Nasr, Daniel Ricciardo and Danny Kvyat, with the unbroken category scoring 2.63, with Kvyat only leading for just the last 2 rounds. And it did go to that last round, with Kvyat sealing it in Abu Dhabi with a 5th place after Perez came away with a victory, actually finishing in front of Ricciardo, with the overall year scoring 20 1.63. So definitely a much better year for the fans over 2014, as it was an incredibly close fought year. And from 2015 we moved to 2016. If it wants to move, you can do it. There we go, 2016. We start with Felipe Massa. Felipe Massa actually taking the lead in the early stages, with Romain Grosjean taking the lead once at Bahrain. But there were 7 independent winners scoring 5 out of 10. The championship leaders or championship lead changes score 6 out of 10, with the independent championship leaders also scoring 6 out of 10, as Valtteri Bottas manages to get past Felipe Massa, who starts to tail off. But the unbroken record scores 0.09 out of 10, as it is Sergio Perez who takes it to Valtteri Bottas and wins at the last round. He only holds the lead of the championship from the last round. Absolutely bonkers, as this year scores a incredibly low 18.09 across the whole year. We did have Felipe Massa on a nice string of third places near the end, but unfortunately not enough to peter off his just poor middle half of the year. And then heading from 2016 into 2017, the big regulation changes. Will it see a shake-up in the championship positions? We start with Felipe Massa taking the lead, and then shortly after, Carlos Sainz holds it as Felipe Massa takes it back, with 8 different winners again scoring just 4 out of 10. The championship lead changed 5 times this year, with 4 independent championship leaders scoring 6 out of 10. However, the unbroken record went to just 1 out of 10, with Sergio Perez leading for just a couple of rounds. He is leading at the moment, but it is Esteban Ocon who takes the fight to him, leading just a couple of times, with the overall year scoring 17. Both Perez and Ocon scored 4 victories, with Massa, Sainz and Hülkenberg scoring 3, with Stroll scoring 1, and also Fernando Alonso scoring 1 as well. So that is 2 back-to-back championships for Sergio Perez, and from 2017 we head to 2018, the first Halo year, and we start with Fernando Alonso taking a victory for McLaren and maintaining his championship lead. But there were 9 different race winners this year, scoring 3 out of 10, with the championship lead changes 5 times, scoring 5 out of 10 as well. But there were just 3 independent championship leaders, which scores it just 7, as Carlos Sainz and Nico Hülkenberg have a battle at the top, with the unbroken record scoring 5.71 out of 10, as Nico Hülkenberg holds it from France onwards, and it does not go to the last round, as Nico Hülkenberg wins in the United States, with the overall year scoring 29.71. Even with 2 DNFs at the end of the year in Brazil and Abu Dhabi, after being crowned the champion, he is still the Formula 1.5 champion, the only one to have back-to-back victories this year. And finally, from 2018 to the last year of today's episode, 2019. And we start with Kevin Magnussen taking a victory in Australia, with Kimi Räikkönen jumping in front after round 2. There were 7 independent winners scoring 5 out of 10. There were just 3 championship lead changes though, scoring 7 out of 10, with 3 independent championship leaders scoring again 7 out of 10. However, Carlos Sainz ended up dominating this season, and after a poor start, he led from Canada onwards, scoring 7.14 in the unbroken category, and it did not go to the last round as he won in the United States, with the overall season scoring 35.14. A bit of an interesting year, definitely, 2019. Sainz had a very poor start, 2 DNFs and then an 8th place, with his first podium coming in Azerbaijan in round 4. We then had the 2 Renaults being disqualified in Japan as well, along with the swap of Albon and Gasly in the Toro Rosso car. And with 2019 being scored, we can head to the overall scorings. We've got 2017 rated the highest with 17, followed by 2016, both Sergio Perez led years. Then it's 2015 in which Danny Kvyat ended up winning, with 2018 followed by 2019, and lastly by quite some margin 2014. And there we have it, comparing the 6 individual Formula 1.5 seasons, and so far I can't remember off the top of my head, 2020, as it hasn't been concluded yet over just 3 categories, has scored 20. I think 20 exactly, which would slot it quite nicely in 4th place. So 2020 isn't actually that bad of a year so far. But if you've got any suggestions for different categories or video improvements, please let me know down in the comments below. But that is all I've got for you today, guys. I hope you have enjoyed, and I will catch you in the next video with whatever and whenever I decide to make it. I'll see you guys then.